First, what is WebRTC? WebRTC stands for Web Real-Time Communications. And basically, as I've alluded to before, it's a set of technologies we've been working on for quite some time. And it enables browser to serve as endpoint for audio-video communication. So just as we are using Zoom today to chat over the Atlantic Ocean, you can bring a link to your web browser, click on it, and here you are talking with another person or a group of persons across the world. And this is all made possible by this set of technologies, WebRTC. It's a combination of JavaScript APIs available in browsers that were standardized in WCC and a set of network protocols defined in this other organization called IETF, the Internet Engineering Task Force. And they work together by making it, again, possible to bring a link and start a conversation without further ado, going through firewalls as needed, bringing screen sharing, bringing various media and audio capabilities as seamlessly as possible. And one thing, the availability of these technologies, I think, has changed for the web, is that it used to be $1 billion investment if you wanted to do something like having a video conference set up. And now it's something that as a developer, you put together a few libraries in your project and you can connect people like that. It's no longer that video conferencing has to be a product. It can be a feature of your product or your solution. It changes the landscape of how you use real-time communication. It's no longer has to be the focus. It can be just an add-on to another product. And WebRTC, as I said, we've been working on it for a long time. And the good news is that it's nowadays basically available anywhere on any browser. If you skip maybe Internet Explorer, which hasn't been updated in a long time, but otherwise any browser running in a modern phone or computer will have WebRTC out of the box. So you don't even have to think whether the person you're contacting has a feature or not. The vast majority of the world, you can maybe see the 93% that this Can I Use screenshot shows. 93% of users out there have WebRTC available out of the box. And when I say working in WCC is about having an impact, I call this having an impact. Bringing that kind of capabilities to 4 billion people just outside of a link is amazing. We don't always realize that the web is magic, but it is magical. And it was magical before 2020, but for better or for worse, 2020 had made it more than magical. It had made it critical. We loved meeting together physically, but in a time of a pandemic, being able to continue to meet, create, discuss, invent the future together without being physically together has been critically important. People have relied on RTC for sport events, for political conventions, for remote theater plays, for remote art exhibitions, for TV shows. And that's not even mentioning the use of remote health, telemedicine, remote education. All of these critical operations for everyday world has been disrupted, but would have been disrupted so much more if we hadn't had this technical platform to enable any kind of real-time communication deployment. And so to me, this has shown that beyond the technical aspect, I think WebRTC has really brought this sense of a shared presence to the web. It's no longer that you're checking a web page, checking this or that information. The web has become a platform where you can be together. And again, this year more than any other, this has been really important, but I think this is also paving the way for the web to become an even better platform for being together. And some of the improvements that we know are needed for making that vision true are exactly what we are currently discussing in the WebRTC working group in the WCC, where these technologies are being defined, and I'm offering to go through a few of these evolutions, maybe quickly, because some of them are pretty technical, to give you a sense of where we see this sense of shared presence is evolving. So the first thing we're tackling is making sure that WebRTC can cater to many different devices and network situations. If you have a big computer or a low-end smartphone, the experience of doing real-time communication has to adapt to your circumstances. And there are a number of technical barriers that we are lifting. The same way I described the need to adapt video streaming earlier to various network conditions. WebRTC has already a lot of it, but we have a number of improvements, in particular a technology called scalable video coding that will make doing WebRTC across this diversity of devices even better in terms of performance, smoothness, and user experience. Because WebRTC is no longer, just something you do from here and there in a few circumstances, but has become key to so many different types of interactions. The need to make the WebRTC experience as secure, as confidential, as intimate as possible, I think is pushing some fast progress in this space. WebRTC has already a lot of built-in security, encryption, and so on. But in the context of group teleconferences, such as the one that we are doing, there are improvements to make sure that the teleconferencing system itself cannot become part of the conversation. If you want to make sure that your conversation is completely outside of the view of the teleconferencing system, you need a way to share the encryption keys to make this possible. And that's another space where we are making fast progress. One space where we're also very much looking for input on use cases and priorities, defining exactly how the keys get shared, who gets to get access to what. We need to have the right set of use cases. So if you're in this space, we're very much looking for your input. We talked about immersiveness before, and even without mentioning yet, the immersive web, as doing this remote communication becomes a new normal. It has bad aspects, but it has also plenty of good aspects. And part of it is making sure that we don't have to be just where we are. We can be, in front of a volcano, in front of the Statue of the Liberty, or anywhere, because of the power of the digital ecosystem. And that's another aspect where we are investing in WebRTC, making sure that all the goodness that comes out of, for instance, the machine learning algorithms can be applied to video conferencing. And in general, we think that there are plenty of opportunities to make all these real-time communications more seamless. We've been doing way too much teleconferencing, all of us, for the past years. How many times have we heard you're muted? How many times have we heard dogs barking and keyboards being typed on and so on? All of this should be of the past. We can suppress that noise. We can and we should. We need the technical bricks to make this possible. Again, all of the machine learning work I alluded to here has a lot to play. We can improve the way speech gets transcribed. We can improve the way people that are hard of hearing or deaf participate to this virtual ecosystem. We can help the fact that not everybody speaks the same language. We can overcome that. The Tower of Babel can be something of the past if we do our job right. There is lots that can be done. Not everything has to be done. I mean, there are some discussions around the role of emotion analysis done either on your video or on your voice. Whether that should be done is probably something that needs to be discussed. And so there may be also barriers or ways to expose some of this risk in that space. But we know that this is a potential of innovation that is absolutely enormous. We have lots of folks making this happen. I mean, maybe I didn't mention this strongly enough before, but the work that is happening in the LCC is not done by Marie-Claire or I. I mean, we do some of the work, but most of the work gets done by the WCC member organizations. A lot of the big tech names are involved in WCC in general and in WebRTC in particular. We had the pleasure to recently welcome Zoom, whose product we're using today to WCC, and we very much hope that their input will help evolve WebRTC also towards an even better technical platform.